I am Nevaeh Burleton, and I would like to welcome you to the 2019 National Honor Society induction. We are gathered here to formally recognize those students who have been selected by the faculty of our school for successfully completing their candidacy and are being inducted as new members of our NHS chapter. For current members and those former members who may be among our guests, we hope this will serve to remind you of the standards of excellency you too are charged with maintaining as members of the nation's oldest, largest, and most prestigious student recognition program. Our chapter is proud to have been inducting new members since 1980, and today's ceremony indicates the continuing emphasis on excellence that we represent for our school and community. Throughout the year, members of our chapter serve as role models for other students. In addition to the strong academic records which establish the eligibility for membership, our chapter members are leaders in many student organizations, and we serve our school and community through many activities, including volunteering with the Big Brothers and Sisters Club, tutoring within our schools, sending volunteers to the Jesus Cares program, and as of last year, the Run for Lives 2019, which raised over $5,000 for the Children's Hospital of Wisconsin. We are proud of this record of accomplishment and welcome these new members who bring new energy and support to our continuing work as NHS members. It is at this time that we proclaim to all in attendance that membership in the Fox Valley Lutheran chapter of the National Honor Society has been earned by these candidates through the effective demonstration of the 4 qualities that serve as standards for the society. Members of the chapter will now review these qualities to the candidates. We begin with Isaiah Thurn speaking on leadership.
Fellow students, teachers, parents, and grandparents, I cherish the opportunity to influence each one of you tonight, especially my classmates who have allowed me to fill a long-time dream of giving this speech and to whom I am indebted. Since the beginning of written language, we as a civilization have and continue to desire a concrete meaning for our words. In the English language, the earliest accomplishment of this was by Robert Cowdrey in 1604 when he wrote a book of over 8,000 words and their meanings, constituting the very first English dictionary. One of those 8,000 defined words being ladre, commonly known today as leader. Now, if you came here today looking for that definition, I'm sorry, but you're not going to find it. In fact, it doesn't matter what Merriam-Webster or the Oxford Dictionary have to say, because we've known leadership since kindergarten. It was that moment when the teacher calls, "Brian, come to the front, please." Okay, class, it's Brian's birthday, so he's the line leader. Everyone follow him. This was our very first taste of leadership, and uncoincidentally, it always happened to be on our birthday. If we're honest, we were the line leader only because it was our birthday. Let's play the game, let's be real, nothing's changed. Even if we're 11 years older, taking harder classes, and in more activities, we are leaders in National Honor Society, not because of any skill or ability we possess. We are leaders simply because we were told to be. Yes, a group of teachers evaluated us in 45-minute increments, 8 times a day, along with a 4-digit number and a glance at an application. That is more than enough validation to get into National Honor Society. But with 2/3 of the day left unchecked, it is an understatement to say that it is not enough to qualify someone to be a leader. In fact, we deceive ourselves when we think that we are leaders simply because someone chose us for our skills or abilities. Our skills and abilities don't have anything to do with leadership, no matter how many times we take a training session or are told that we have a gift. Fortunately, leadership is even simpler because it's not a learned ability. It's purely our influence on others. It's nothing special because it's nothing that we can do. It's about who we are, not dependent on grade point average, but something everyone has. Sure, influence can be seen as the ability to speak or as one's charismatic skill, but greater influence is felt on a daily basis through the things that we do, the things that our teachers, parents, grandparents, older siblings, and role models taught us from birth. It's that fundamental character, scholarship, and service shown through our leadership that influence others the most. Although leadership may look easier now than it was 5 minutes ago, In actuality, I'm going to tell you that it's even harder, and it's more of a challenge. Each of us, whether young or old, teacher or student, parent or child, have been influencing those around us and will continue to influence those around us, for better or for worse. Others are always watching, and they will be influenced by the repercussions of our leadership. Even though everyone can influence, no matter what position, those with the higher authority are most often expected to make the right decisions. The quality of our influence on others depends on every single action we make each day, not just for the 8 or 10 hours while we're at school, but the other 2/3 of the time as well. The challenge of leadership is to constantly act on your character. Our character may be there, but if we neglect to act upon it, then we fail to lead, and we fail to influence others, especially in a positive manner. Seniors, last year you walked across the stage and received a piece of paper, like the juniors will be doing in a few minutes. Whether you've received it or not, that piece of paper right now doesn't look like much. But remember, there are 3 other pillars: character, scholarship, and service, each of which depend on leadership, and your leadership depends on all 3 of them. As for leadership itself, though, when you look at that piece of paper and see the tiny word printed there, I want you to replace that word with certified influencer. Yes, anyone can influence, but each of you are a National Honor Society, a position of higher authority. And although a position of higher authority, others outside the organization look up to you whether you like it or not. Although that might seem as a curse, treat it as you would a present that you receive on your birthday. Now, do recognize that you only got it because it was your birthday, nothing that you did. But also recognize that birthdays don't come around that often. So today is your birthday, and make the most of it.
Good evening. Tonight, I have the opportunity and privilege to talk to you about the virtue of scholarship. Now, if I asked what scholarship looks like to you, I'd probably hear some variation of the following list: getting good grades, making the honor roll, getting a good score on a standardized test, or, since you're here after all, being inducted into the National Honor Society. Don't get me wrong, these things are immensely important, but that's not all that there is to scholarship. They're generally evidence of scholarship, to be sure, but they're not what scholarship is all about. You see, receiving good grades or test scores or academic honors are all results. But the real definition of scholarship goes beyond what you'll find on a transcript or score report. Scholarship is about the process, about the actions you take every day to meet a certain set of academic goals. For example, if you want to get a good grade on a test, you're also going to want to study. In that case, the virtue of scholarship isn't just when you get the test back and get the grade you were hoping for. It's also about the diligent studying and preparation you did beforehand. It's about the process, not just the results. Maybe that distinction doesn't seem very important, but in reality, it's the essence of defining what scholarship truly is. I know I'm speaking to a large number of academically gifted people, and if you don't think so, the fact that you're being inducted in a National Honor Society certainly speaks to that characteristic. However, the biggest mistake that you can make in your academic career is thinking that your academics are totally dependent on inherent ability or natural talent, that either you have it or you don't. And that belief is only reinforced by a results-driven view of scholarship, because not noticing immediate results of your efforts will easily cause you to be discouraged or even to give up altogether. Conversely, focusing on the process allows you to realize that scholarship is more than just the results. It's about something that can be always learned and improved on every day of your lives. This process of continuing to learn and grow academically is what reveals one's inner character, far more than any test score or transcript ever could. That's why qualities like perseverance, dedication, and hard work are the essence of true scholarship. But guess what? If you can hone in on those qualities, the results will also naturally follow. And that feeling of accomplishment after engaging in the process and putting tremendous effort towards a specific task or goal is definitely worth it. Beyond that, though, we have an even greater motivation to do everything to the best of our ability, and that's God's abundant grace. In light of this, we shouldn't neglect to use our gifts and opportunities that He has given us to reflect this virtue of scholarship in our own lives. Finally, there's one last reason why I'm emphasizing today that scholarship is about the process and not just the results. In the not too distant future, you're all going to graduate from high school. Many of you will go on to college, and then from there to the workforce. But if scholarship is only about good grades or test scores or transcripts, then this virtue will disappear entirely the moment you receive a diploma for the last time. But it shouldn't. Being willing to learn and grow, meanwhile, is something you can and should take beyond the walls of a classroom. Perseverance, dedication, and hard work are all traits that will serve you well throughout the rest of your lives. And staying motivated to complete your tasks to the best of your ability will only benefit you in the long run. So that's what you should think of when it comes to scholarship, because those things last far beyond the realm of formal education. It's those things then that reflect the true meaning of scholarship. Thank you.
Good evening. I know that all of you have heard this more than once, but congratulations and welcome to NHS. As it has been noted from previous speeches, and as you can see from your program, our organization is founded on 4 pillars. But like all aspects of life, many more components make up NHS. As an organization of the people, we, as a part of the NHS, have a lot of power that in reality will be yours in the near future. It is awesome that you've made it this far. But now that you're in, I would like to encourage you not to just stand back and be in NHS. I encourage you to embrace NHS and to dive in. If you want to see some change, talk to your peers, your leadership team, or Mrs. Gilmet. This is your opportunity to serve and give back to your community. One of the most caring people I have ever met once told me that our job on this earth is to be Jesus to everyone. I cannot stress enough that even little things you may find unimportant can mean the world to someone else. I encourage you to find some way to help others that excites you, maybe something you feel passionate about. My prayer is that through NHS, you can all begin a lifestyle of volunteering and helping others. Hold on to that and do not let it go. Don't let anyone make you feel like your role isn't important or belittle its importance. If you're sporty, possibly give time at camps, many of which are offered here at FVL or easily accessible in the community. I encourage you at all sporting events and extracurriculars to be kind and encouraging to your opponents. On the other hand, perhaps you are artistically inclined and have some amazing new ideas that we could incorporate into several of these opportunities. There are several art clubs offered here, but again, you can also seek opportunities in the community. It can be scary to go into the community, and it is easier to put events off if they are not within our FVL family. I also encourage you to try new things, to not let the fear of leaving your comfort zone frighten you. High school is such an exciting time to grow as an individual, so I ask you to change, to grow, to try new things. If you go volunteer and don't love it, that's fine, but if you do, that's fine also. As Christians, we have assurance that God will bless our efforts, and we know that He will work things out for our eternal good. Motivated by His love for us, I encourage you to take that love and distribute it to others. Volunteer opportunities are accessible on Google Classroom and on a bulletin near the face room. Please interact and come to events. And if you have any ideas, please speak up and bring it to the attention of others or the leadership team. Your volunteer life will flow directly into your daily life. The interactions and broadening horizons will change you. So, thank you for excitement and energy, and thank you for applying. This year, I hope and pray that together we can make big changes and small changes in our community, our school, and the lives of others.
As human beings, we crave the tangible. We do best when things are concrete, when we can see them with our own eyes, experience them with our own senses. In order to grasp more abstract ideas, we've developed many strategies. We use analogies and models, illustrations and symbols. For example, it's hard for us to fathom heaven, So we depict it as a joyous family reunion in the clouds. Something as large and complex as love, we turn into a simple red heart. I think we naturally do the same thing with people. There are two sides to us: the tangible, visible part that includes what we look like and the physical things we do, and the abstract part, which is our character, the motivation behind everything we do. For better or for worse, we seem to more often identify ourselves by the concrete things we are involved in. We are athletes and singers, artists and nerds, but we are less likely to identify ourselves by the abstract ideas that define our character: our honesty, dependability, compassion, and trustworthiness. Perhaps this tendency is based simply on ease. It's quick to say I'm on the soccer team. It's a simple fact, objective and painless to prove, but it's hard to dig deep enough to get at who we really are. Character is what sets us apart, making us more than just one of the crowd. Character is our core, the center of all our intentions and actions. It influences our every move and decision. Character impacts how we see the world. It determines through what lenses we see ourselves, others, and the situations we encounter. It shapes our behavior and response. Character is a commitment, a lifelong commitment with no boundaries. It's a commitment to others, to respect them, to show concern and empathy for them, and to stand up for them or to them. It's a commitment to high standards, to be reliable and responsible, to be trustworthy and honest, and to be just and unbiased. Character is more than just one of the 4 pillars of National Honor Society. I believe it's the root of the other 3. It's what drives you to be a leader, a scholar, and a servant. And it goes way beyond your brief years in NHS. It determines the future, the course of the rest of your life. Character impacts your relationships, your opportunities, and your contributions to society. It can be a bit overwhelming to know that one single thing carries so much weight. Thankfully, we aren't completely isolated in our efforts. Not only are we committed to others, but we are held accountable by them. They are able to see the weaknesses in our character to which we turn a blind eye. Mutual accountability leads to a community grounded in ethics, a way of life in which character is a habit, a natural response. Character may be an abstract concept, but it's surprisingly tangible and visible. Your character defines you. It is you. No analogy or symbol needed. How will you be defined?
Good evening, everyone. It is my honor to speak here today. Just like what Annika just said, having a good character is not only important for yourself, but also important for the people around you. I am an international student, and studying in a foreign country, getting used to new environments, meeting new people, these challenges have taught me the importance of keeping a positive attitude to the things around me. You see, I found that the character is like a ripple effect. When you are enthusiastic, you will bring other people inspiration. When you are energetic, you will empower others around you. And good leaders don't create followers, they create more leaders. And since you become members of NHS, make that ripple effect. Be bold and bring out your good qualities, and let your positive attitudes reflect on others. Contribute your strength to serve schools, churches, communities, and others the best you can. Today, I am privileged to celebrate this wonderful occasion with you, and hopefully, during this closing performance, you can feel my joy and enthusiasm for the new NHS members.
Good evening. My name is Jeff Loberger. I'm privileged to serve as the Director of Mission Advancement here at Fox Valley Lutheran High School. It's a privilege and honor to be here with you tonight. All truth be told, it's the first time I'm part of a National Honor Society. But I'm going to ask you a favor. Thank you. I'm going to ask a favor of all of you because I need a little bit of help tonight. I need you to please stand. Everybody, adults can stand, everybody. Here's the thing, I was given 30 minutes to talk tonight. So prepare. No. I want you to do this. This first part is going to be for you adults. Kids, sit tight because none of you were even born yet. Or stand tight. Parents, I want you to turn to someone near you and I want you to tell them exactly where were you and what were you doing on September 11th, 2001 at 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to give you 20 seconds. Go. All right. Easy enough. Students, none of you are even born yet, so you shouldn't have been talking. That's okay, though. It's okay. Students, I've got one for you now. And adults, let's see if you can do this. This one's a little bit more relatable to all of you. Can you please tell me, or tell the person next to you, what were you doing on August 22nd, 2018 at exactly 9 o'clock in the morning? I'm going to give you 20 seconds. Go. All right, take your seats. Thank you very much for doing that. Here's the point. The point is this. Parents, I'm going to kind of address you first. Because my guess is that when I asked you about September 11th, 2001 at 9 o'clock a.m., most of you were probably able to tell me exactly where you were, what you were doing, what was going on. As a matter of fact, I was teaching a second-hour class in Waco, Nebraska at a high school with 9 students. I knew where all of them sat. I knew everything in that moment. Why? Why was that one so much easier than August 22nd, 2018? It's pretty simple because when you get down to it, the magnitude of the event that took place on September 11th rocked your world. It completely changed the way Americans live their lives today, didn't it? And it impacted you whether it was directly with family and friends or indirectly. But for all of you, August 22nd, 2018 was a huge day. How was your first day of school last year? Doesn't seem so grand of an event, does it? And yet at the same time, I want you to think for a moment all of the things that could have changed and the impact that could have been made on that single day. You began a new year with new teachers. You met new classmates, new friends, new classes that you were taking that you'd never been to. And my question for you is, how did you handle all those things last year? Parents, August 22nd, 2018, you have no idea what happened that day probably. But if you reflect on last year as a whole, did you have an opportunity to make an impact on somebody that maybe you left it go? I would say that all of us standing and or sitting in here tonight would say, I could have done that better. I could have made a different decision that maybe would have been more positive on the people around me, on my family members, on my co-workers, on my classmates. Tonight, we just heard 4 students stand up and talk about the 4 pillars of the National Honor Society: leadership, scholarship, service, and character. In preparing for this tonight, I wanted to focus in on leadership. And so I thought, well, what better way? How do I do this? I got a master's degree in leadership and administration, and where do I go with this topic? Because it's huge. So I thought I'm going to go to the wisest place that I know, and that's Wikipedia. So in my researching, I found 86 words and phrases that describe a good leader. So let me read all of them to you. I'm just kidding. Let me just highlight these. Words like accountable, encouraging, focused, motivated, strategic. The list goes on, but you can't argue any of those about a good leader, can you? I'm going to tell you a story for a second. I like to tell stories. There was a man walking down a beach one day, and as he was walking, he saw this other man in a far off distance, and he kept seeing the man bend over and throw something into the ocean. He didn't think much of it until it happened again and again and again and again. As he got closer to that man, he finally noticed what he was doing. Hundreds of thousands of starfish had rolled up on the sea, and the tide was out. And the man who walked up to him said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "Well, I'm going to throw these starfish back in the sea." The first man with a puzzled look said, "Why? There's hundreds of thousands of starfish here and hundreds of miles of coast. What difference does it make?" The man simply bent over, picked up a starfish, threw it in the ocean, and said that one made a big difference. It's kind of a silly story about a starfish and a couple of guys on an ocean beach, right? Yet at the same time, whenever we think of impactful moments in our life, we think of big things like state championships or September 11th. But I think it's made of all the little things. I think it's the little things in your life that happen that make a huge impact on people. I think that sometimes the impact that we might think is insignificant, and the 3 minutes or 5 minutes that we take to just talk to that person that maybe we haven't talked to, that 3 to 5 minutes could change the life of a person. I think of the National Honor Society and the 4 pillars that it stands on. And I can't help but think of a quote from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He said this: "Everybody can be great because anybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subjects and verbs agree to serve. You only need a heart full of grace, a soul generated by love." To you, Christian young men and women, to you, the parents and guardians, friends and families who are here tonight, I'm going to remind you of what the 2019 theme for NHS is. 1 Peter 4 verse 5 says this: each one of you should use whatever gift he has received to serve others faithfully administering God's grace in its various forms. That's awesome. That is an awesome privilege. And it doesn't have to come in sweeping, huge things that are going to take over a city or change a culture and how they live. They're going to come in the 3 to 5 minute conversation that you have in the student in the hallway that nobody talks to. They're going to come in the 3 to 5 minute conversation that parents, guardians, family, friends, that when you walk into work tomorrow, you take just 3 to 5 minutes to have a conversation with somebody that you haven't before. Those 3 to 5 minutes they might be just 3 to 5 minutes in your busy day running from here to there. But those 3 to 5 minutes could be the thing that changes the lives of that starfish lying on the beach. So may God bless all of you today. May He bless you tomorrow. May He bless you always as you strive to make a difference in those lives around you, even if it takes just one person at a time. God bless you and congratulations.
Good evening. My name is Katie Slominski, and I am currently serving on the NHS leadership team as the fundraising director. Before we introduce our new members, we would like to recognize our current members and the projects they have been a part of this past year. A few of last year's highlights include Operation Christmas in cooperation with Harbor House, after-school volunteering at the Boys and Girls Club, work with several of our Federation churches, and bake sales here at FVL throughout the year. One of our most impactful services has been our tutoring program, which has helped a great number of students here on campus. This year, we have very exciting plans to further improve this program. Additionally, many of our members contributed to the Run for Lives fundraising event for the Children's Hospital of Wisconsin. This year, with the help of our new members, we will be repeating this event with an even larger donation goal. Will our veteran National Honor Society members please stand?
At this time, we will now present our new inductees with their certificates for joining NHS. Cameron Bay. Jenna Bickle. Logan Bame. Deborah Brink. Bryn Buchholz. Kate Sharon. Marie Delmer. Mai An. Lissa Edwards. Mackenzie Elmer. Moses Enter. Laura Esselman. Jonathan Ewert. Grace Fergie. Addison Fett. Jackson Fleming. Jonah Yagman. Jasmine Gilson. Jordan Gazdeck. Isabella Hanman. Wesley Yachman. Rachel Kempener. Parker Knoll. Olivia Cron. Eli Krieger. Blake Larson. Madeline Liebert, Emma Liebsite, Andrew Martin, Chloe Maddock, Aaron Melzo, John Mertz, Riley Ninman, Olivia Oldenburg, Hannah Olson, Kendra Pollack, Isaac Pruce, Ava Raconnor, Kyle Reeder, Macy Shates, Samantha Schreiber, Brendan Schultz, Wilder Smith, Laird Strand, Brecken Thomas, Kylie Toyne, Madison Ullenbrook, Rachel Vogel, Evan Wickman, Tessa Wilson, Paige Wookie, Macy Yore, Spencer Jens, Alyssa Keller, Justin Yane.
Okay, so I just want to say thank you for figuring out the whole clap situation that happened over here. It's one of the traditions that they have when there's a big group that comes up, they do the one clap, so that's why that ended up happening there. I'm Mrs. Gilmet, yeah, and I'm one of the advisors for NHS, and I just want the new inductees to stand for a second so we can all give them a round of applause. All right, go ahead and take a seat, guys. How do you pull it back after that? Okay, I just want to say thank you all for coming. I know it's been a busy day. It's a busy start to a very busy week. We had a couple of football guys who rolled in here literally like 7 minutes ago, but you made it. You were all here. So I really appreciate it. Good job. We are going to have some pictures afterwards. There's going to be a group picture that we'll take in here. There's a couple of refreshments that are going to be in the canteen. So thanks again for coming and congratulations. All right. Okay, that's it.